Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Driven Dave here with another vlog. It's a beautiful day. We're on Angela's Crest Highway. As you can probably see, the fog and the clouds and mountains and stuff. Man, what a beautiful day for a drive. I mean, I'm not driving for fun, but I'm having fun. Even though I'm here in the LS400, you know, probably not the best tool for the job in my fleet, but still, we're having fun. So I had a question for you guys today, and I thought, you know, it would be fun to kind of talk about this, maybe get some comments down below. Before we get to that, do me a favor, subscribe, please. It's right down there, I'll wait. Okay, good, thank you. Really appreciate it. So I'm going to give you the front view, and I'm going to ask you my question. All right, here we go. Now you can see what I'm seeing. As you can tell, really beautiful day. You know, we've got a lot of fog kind of off in the distance there, and the clouds are really pretty. And it seems that there's a lot of traffic on this road, which is kind of a bummer. I'm in a bit of a hurry, but that's okay. So here's my question for you. Is there a car that you bought that you didn't really expect to like, that you ended up really kind of falling in love with? You know, almost in a silly way, like a car that nobody should like, but you like it? I have several, so I'm going to tell you my list, and I'd be curious to see your list down below. In no particular order, I'm going to start with this car, the 98 LS400. When I bought this car, it was not, you know, it was not really destined to be a future classic. Nobody really cared. It was just a really old looking Lexus. It wasn't like a classic Lexus. And now, like, everywhere I go with this car, people are like, dude, that's a sick LS400, you know. And when I bought it, no one, and I mean no one cared. I bought it because I knew it was reliable. I knew it would kind of suit my needs, but I wasn't necessarily like smitten with the car. But it didn't take long, you know, of driving this thing. Once I kind of repaired the things that were most blatantly wrong with it, the car really warmed itself into my heart. And now it's like, I mean, you guys know, if you've been watching these videos, I'm nuts about this car. It's awesome. So that's my first example. Second example, 2000 Mitsubishi Mirage. Got it from my cousin, and by way of my friend Morty. And I mean, that car was really rough around the edges. It had been in a bunch of fights on the street, and I mean, it was rough. But there was something about that little car. It was like really fun to drive. It was a great little kind of city commuter. You know, the steering was really light, and you know, the brakes were light. I mean, everything was just kind of light. It was just a very willing little car. Although the brakes were terrible, I need to be clear about that, which is why I ended up stopping. You know, I got rid of it because no anti-lock brakes. I locked them up on the freeway and almost got in a bad crash. And it happened a couple times. I was like, yo, I'm out. That's enough. But still, really neat little car. I kind of miss it to this day because, you know, if I just had room for it, I'd totally be driving it, you know, just to the store and back. You know, it's just a fun little car, and nobody noticed it, which was kind of great. Next on my list, kind of a forgettable car, but surprisingly fun. I had a 2006 Volkswagen Jetta, and that was like, I guess that was the Mark V, and kind of the first year of that. It had a 5-cylinder, 2.5 liter, and it had a 5-speed manual. Really nice, light clutch, really just buttery smooth gearbox, good steering, comfortable seats. Like, it kind of had everything I needed. I just wanted kind of a manlier car. I just didn't feel very cool driving it, but I always kind of regretted getting rid of that one because it was, you know, it was just a really good little car, but I was just never that crazy about it, kind of until I sold it. I was like, man, that car was really comfortable and Gas mileage was pretty good, and I mean, it kind of just did everything really well. It just didn't look cool, so I didn't like it as much for that. But you know, driving that thing, it warmed its way into my heart. Next on the list are going to be some of the more surprising entries. And I've owned a lot of cars. A lot of them I knew I was just going to love. And you know, truth be told, I loved all of them in a certain way. I mean, they were all pretty fun. I don't know why we're going so slowly. But it's like some of them, you know, you're going to love it and it comes true and you're happy, you know. But with others, you know, you find yourself in an opportunity to buy a certain car and you say, like, well, yeah, why not? So there was one in particular, and this one is like really high on my list of cars that I loved. And I bought it from my friend Peter a long time ago, 1989 Nissan Sentra. It was just a bare bones Sentra. It did have air conditioning and it had an aftermarket stereo, and that was it. Like, that was it. No power windows, no power locks, no power steering, no power clutch. Everything was manual. It was kind of a doofy looking little car. You know, it had like a really kind of tall roof, but on a tiny body. I mean, it just looked silly. And yet, I loved that car. Oh my gosh. I tinted the windows. I put some like big subwoofers in it. Upgraded all the speakers inside. I even put neon lights in. I mean, it was kind of a rolling joke. But like, it was so fun. I loved that car. And I drove it everywhere, and it was just, I put a fart can exhaust on it. I mean, it was just great. And I really missed that car. That was one that I didn't want to sell. But just a really fun, honest little car. I mean, it didn't handle well. It didn't go fast. The gas mileage wasn't even that great, but at the time it was fine. But it was just funny. Like, it was just, there was something very endearing about that little car, and I miss it to this day. I wish I still had it. I mean, I'm not Jay Leno. I don't have room for all those cars. And I think, like, last but not least on this list would have to be really like the funniest car of all, and that was my 1994 Geo Metro. I bought it, I think, for $1,200 from, there was an auto parts store back in Texas where I grew up. They went out of business, or they got bought out, and they had a whole fleet of Geo Metros that they had to liquidate once they closed the business. And the Geo Metros were used to like transport parts, which was really pretty funny. And the deal was, I guess, like, it was the fleet mechanic was selling them. Like, he was the guy that had maintained these cars for all those years. And this would have been back in like 2006, I think, around there. So they were already like, you know, 12, 13 years old, 14 years old. And let's put the hammer down. There we go. There's a Toyota Prius trying to hurt my feelings. And it's surprisingly fast Prius behind me. You know, yesterday's video was all about hurting feelings on the freeway, but man, dude, this Prius is like on me. Maybe the old man isn't as fast as I thought. Holy smokes. Fine, I'll let him make his move. Fine, you go ahead. Like, he obviously lives here. So, man, these people are driving crazy. Whoa. There's a Honda, like, riding up my... Oh, this is uncomfortable. You know, I understand you're in a hurry. I'm in a hurry, but where are we going to go? Like, that Prius can't get ahead of that huge line of cars. Anyway, so I was talking about the Metro. I'm going to switch her into power mode here. I was talking about that Geo Metro. So that whole fleet of cars, this dude had kind of kept them running. Now, he didn't do a whole lot of cosmetic work to these cars. He just kind of kept them in good operational condition. And my friend Mario and I went in to buy Metros from him. And I think it was $1,200 a piece. We both bought them like at the same time. And the deal was, like, we could pick basically any car we wanted, and we could take any like parts that we needed. And he had a whole bunch of parts. So it just kind of seemed like a deal that was too good to pass up. And so we bought these ratty old auto parts hauler Geo Metros. And mine was red, and it was a 4-door hatch. My friend Mario got a green 2-door hatch. At least I think it was a 2-door. Didn't really matter. I mean, those were clown cars, and they were really funny because, like, you could be a big guy and actually fit in those pretty well. It's just when you step out of it, people look at you like, wait, you got out of that car? Like, what? and it was always pretty funny. But, you know, the mechanic guy showed us how to, like, tune the engines. And there's a trick with that car. Like, you can advance the timing by turning the distributor. And there was something about the idle and also, like, the way it rode on the highway. Like, if it started pinging or whatever, you had to back it off. But, you know, he said, you know, advance it until it pings and then back it off. I think that was the trick. And you know, I was able to squeeze 51, 52, 53 miles per gallon out of that car. And you know, 5-speed gearbox, lots of fun. Here, man, look at, and I'm going flat out. That, I don't know what that Prius has in it, but it's pretty quick, dude. And this Honda wants to pass me. You go right ahead. Like, where are you going, dude? Where are you going? Fantastic. Wow, and I've got a Mitsubishi Mirage on my tail now. One of the new 3-cylinder ones. And if you've seen any reviews on that, I think that's like the cheapest new car money can buy. And it's kind of garbage, but kind of good. I think I would like it. You're talking my language. It's not a good car, but you'd probably like it. That's for me. And you know, something tells me I would enjoy that Prius. Something it tells me I would enjoy that Honda too in front of me. I don't think I would enjoy the people driving them, but the cars themselves, sure. So anyway, that's my list. Let me know. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. Have you owned any of those cars? Have you owned some surprising cars yourself? You know, I just think it's kind of fun to talk about this stuff. And just before I let you go, I'll probably check in later on my way home. But we're looking at, I filled up last night, pretty much just drove home and did some city driving. And I've been on the canyon roads here, so I'm down to 14.5 miles per gallon, which, you know, not real good. 37 miles since refuel. Look at the view, man. I've been driving for an hour and 15. Average speed 53. Looks like I can go another 297 miles. Wow, my ear just popped. So anyway, folks, I'll check back in later, but that was fun. See you soon. Okay, I'm back. I have a couple of updated thoughts and a bit of a retraction, which I hate doing. But hey, you know, I like to show the good, the bad, and the ugly, even when it's not in my favor. So I decided to let the Mitsubishi Mirage pass me. This car, I hate to say it, this car stinks on the canyons. It's awful. It stinks. Like, it is terrible, okay? It's heavy. It likes to lean. It doesn't handle well. And I know some of you are LS400 diehards and are going to say, no, it's a high-performance car. No, it isn't. No, it's not. It could be. You could build it to do this. But like I've said in some other videos, like, this is not what this car is good at. You know, this car can do this. It just does a terrible job at it. You know, you could do a whole coil over, lower, stiffer, this and that, but, you know, you would lose this terrific ride quality. At least I think. That little Mitsubishi Mirage, I'm sure, is a piece of garbage. But, you know, it's got short legs, it's tiny, it doesn't weigh anything. it can handle these corners really well, surprisingly. Like, and it seems to have plenty of power. Same with that little Honda, whatever it is, and that Toyota Prius up ahead. You know, all those cars have short legs, like meaning they can run, like, and hybrid cars have some of that battery boost, you know, so down low, they actually boogie. So yesterday I did a video about this car like hurting some feelings on the freeway. That's because this car has long legs. This car is good at this, you know, at that. I mean, this car can go from 60 to 120 like pretty dang fast. This car cannot go from 35 to 65 very fast. It just is not into it, you know. It's got long legs. It needs to stretch them. These other little cars in front of us have short legs. They can run real quick up until a certain point. But I'm gonna pound on these dudes hard as soon as we get to the Sierra Highway. I mean, I'm going to annihilate them, and it's gonna be fun. Unless I lose, and I'll show you. If I get my feelings hurt, I will show you, I think. Check back soon. Here we go. Bye. See? Gotcha. I'm just coasting. Whoa. Okay, well that didn't work out so well. But I put the hurt down on the people that I needed to. I know, is that petty? Yeah, that's petty. But hey man, I'm a little petty. Like a little bit. Like you don't do that to me on the canyons and get away with it. You know what I'm saying? Straight away comes and I'm gonna hurt some feelings. So yeah. Ha. I know, I'm being really, this is really childish. I admit it. But man, that wasn't cool. I felt humiliated on the canyons. Humiliated. So I just had to defend my honor. You know, I feel like the dude on Princess Bride, you know, you killed my father, prepare to die. So that's how I felt. I need to do something about this Toyota pickup. I mean, much respect for the classic Tacoma. That's a good ride right there. But man, he's in my way. So anyway, that was kind of excited. I enjoyed that a little too much. I apologize. I need to just calm down and do the rest of the drive, and I'll check back later. All right, so this is great. This is perfect. This drive was supposed to take like an hour, and instead it's going to take, I don't know, an hour and a half. I had no idea about this detour. I don't mean to complain, folks. Sorry. I'm just, you know, kind of want to go home. Oh, good. The detour. I'm going the wrong way. Woo! Well, that's just how it goes. What are you gonna do? I think I'll just turn left. I think I know a way. I'll probably have to make this brief. In any case, I've been in like dead stop traffic. So I've had lots of time to reflect on the whooping I received on Angeles Crest today. I mean, that was painful, friends. It was humiliating. And so I've been thinking about it. And, you know, this car just isn't good at that. Like I said, it's good at being comfortable in a traffic jam. So that's good. It's good at driving on the freeway. It's good at, you know, going fast on the freeway. And that's mainly what I use this car for. So it's perfect. If I were going to do the drive I did today, if that was like my daily thing, then I would build this car.
In 600 feet, turn left.
I would totally build this car up. It would be, you know, it would be on like Donkey Kong, or I would get another car. That's probably the That's probably the truth. But, you know, I was trying to think, like, what would I do to this car? Like, you know, what would make it a better weapon for that road? And I'm kind of thinking, you know, definitely some coilovers, definitely probably some, you know, better control arms, some bushing upgrades, certainly a wheel and tire package. You know, I'd go with a lower profile tire, probably some wider wheels. I'd probably have to get some spacers. I don't know how that works for this car, but I know you know, the aftermarket is fairly plentiful. There's a lot more available for like the GS300 than there is the LS400, but still there are a lot of 400 builds out there that I've seen, you know, slammed to the ground on fat tires and stuff. You know, I'd probably do an exhaust upgrade and some sort of intake. There aren't a whole lot of like performance mods you can do for the engine on this car. It just kind of is what it is. You get almost 300 horsepower, and that's pretty good. If you want more than that, I think you have to go forced induction. But in '98, they switched to the variable valve timing. So, you know, with the variable valve timing, I guess they did something different with the heads. Maybe aluminum instead of cast iron. I can't remember. I used to know. Apologies. But as I understand it, these VVTi motors can't handle boost the way the non-VVTi motors can. You know, for my purposes, it made sense to get the VVTi because you get an extra 30 horsepower. On the older ones, you know, you're stuck with, I think, 260 horsepower, which I'm sure is plenty entertaining. You know, I'm sure that's like plenty, but, you know, but 290 is a lot better. I mean, this is a heavy car, and, you know, when you have a heavy car, you want to have, man, every entrance is close. This is not ideal. But, you know, the heavier the car, the more power you need. I mean, unless you start making it lighter. And in this case, I like my dual power seats. Like, these seats are awesome. I bet they weigh 200-300 pounds between the two of them. I like my plush rear seat. You know, I'm not taking that out. It doesn't weigh that much, but I'm not messing with that. You know what I mean? So, I mean, this is a luxury cruiser. If I were going to build it up, I'd probably just make it handle better, honestly. You know, a 5-speed manual swap would be amazing. Because I kind of think if you could always pick your gear, you'd never really be lacking for power, you know. Whereas like today on the Canyon, you know, I found myself in gears due to the automatic that, you know, I didn't have the kind of power band that I needed. You know, by the time I would mat the throttle, it was too late, you know, and the car didn't have enough time to really jump up to speed. But again, man, this car has long legs. That's what it's good at. It's good at running long distances at the higher speeds. You know, it's not so good under 60. So, you know, hey, it's like complaining that your complaining that your LS400 isn't good on the canyons is like complaining that your couch isn't a good office chair for your desk. You know, like, they're just designed for different things. You know, this is more of a couch. So that's just my thoughts on that. Anyway, I should probably figure out where I'm going here, because I just don't know where we're going. This is, you know, my LA people that you're watching this, you've been here. You know what's up. You're on the freeway. Everything's fine. I mean, I don't just drive home anymore. You know, I use Waze. I know where I'm going. You know, let me be clear. There is no confusion about like how to get home. But okay, let's see if this works. But I always use Waze or Google Maps, usually Waze, because you never know like what's going to be going on in terms of you know, road construction. Maybe there was a horrible accident. Maybe there was, I mean, whatever. There are all kinds of things that happen on the roads at night. So, you know, I try to always use some sort of GPS thing, so that I make sure to take the best route home and avoid all the junk. But you know, sometimes you can't avoid it. I think like what happened tonight was that there was road construction, and I think they just started the construction because they started kind of late at night. So I think they closed the freeway for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, whatever it was.
Turn right onto I-2
I missed the entrance. Let me turn around. Oi, oi, vey. It's all right. It's all right. I got it. I got this. Yeah, I got this. No problem. While we're at it, and I may make this a little short for my channel. Let's do a little uphill pull. Here we go, and fire. Yeah. Not bad. That was uphill. That was with the AC on. Not too bad, LS400s. But yeah, like what happens is like you'll just be doing your drive, and then all of a sudden the freeway's closed. No warning. Your exit's not available. You can't take the freeway you need, whatever. And no warning. So that's what happened tonight. So I'm gonna get home later than I thought I was gonna get home. And that's how the cookie crumbles, man. Like, what are you gonna do? So before I let you go, and big thanks to watching this far. If you made it this far, so just a few stats. I've been a little throttle happy on this tank. I filled up last night, and I'm down to just a little. I'm kind of in between a quarter tank and 3/4 of a tank. My tank average is 20.6. That involves some spirited canyon driving. That involves some sitting in traffic jam driving, and a few wide open pulls. 115 miles since refill. 2 hours and 50 minutes of driving, averaging 52 miles per hour. So that's going down a lot in the last few days. And it says I can go another 248 miles till empty. So there you have it. The car's doing great. I'm still licking my wounds from earlier, but these things happen. That's what happens when you have the wrong tool for the job. And that's all there is to it. But the car is awesome, regardless of all of that. Like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Hope you're all doing great out there, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.